Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May 26th. We're going to go ahead and get started and just do a little flow together. As you know, or hopefully you know, we have opened the studio, but we are still running a very limited schedule with a limited number of people per class, so just 5 students plus 1 teacher. So if you need information about that or how to sign up or what our schedule looks like, either send me a message or you can look at our website, loveyogabeaumont.com, or go directly to our PunchPass website, which is loveyogabeaumont.punchpass.com. And I've posted that in our page too. So today we're just going to do a little bit of a flow together. This way we can kind of supplement our kind of limited schedule and you still get a good amount of practice, hopefully. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you haven't already found a place to kind of set up, I invite you to do that, or maybe just kind of watch along with me and breathe with me if you don't really feel like getting on your mat today, or maybe do whatever feels good. And so we're going to go ahead and come to our space. So whatever that may be for you, maybe you have a yoga mat, maybe you don't. I'm going to go ahead and kind of step onto my mat over here. And so we'll just kind of start together by setting some intention together. I know that places have been reopening, businesses have been reopening, and that's all very exciting. And we want to remember, at least here at the studio, that we're going to keep proceeding with caution, just because we want to be sure that everybody is safe and staying healthy, and we're doing what we can to keep you healthy, and you're doing what you can to maintain your health. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. If you want to just come to a seated position or wherever you feel comfortable, and we'll start with just some deep breaths here. Sitting however you want to sit, maybe resting the hands palms up or palms down. Palms up if you feel that you need to receive some energy. Palms down if maybe you need to kind of ground yourself a little bit. Maybe one of each if you like that. I'm going to go palms up. Rolling the shoulders down the back. Deep inhale through the nose. Complete exhale through the mouth. And again, deep breath in. And full exhale. Deep breath in. Full exhale. And if you had the eyes closed, maybe gently blinking them open and reminding ourselves to set the intention to do what feels good and to do what feels right in whatever way that may present itself to us. Reminding ourselves that only we know what it's like to be in our bodies, so only we know what feels good for us today. And so I invite you to kind of move and breathe in whatever way that feels good. Feel free to take a break or just kind of watch if you like to. If you have any questions or anything, you can always comment or send me a message if you like to. So we're going to go ahead and start out recline today. So go ahead and come onto your back. If you want to use props here, you certainly can. So as you come onto your back, you may want to keep the knees bent to take pressure off of your lower back. You may want to extend the legs, maybe that feels good, or even bring the soles of the feet together if you want a little bit of hip opening here. So whatever you want to take. Hands can rest wherever you like them, maybe down by the sides, maybe on the abdomen. And breathing here, maybe closing the eyes if that feels good. And beginning to work into the intention that we set, reminding ourselves that we are made to feel good, that we are made to feel healthy, happy, safe, secure. And understanding that we are all different, that we all have maybe different needs or wants, but that at the end of the day, we're all made to feel good. And so maybe as you move and breathe today, reminding yourself that every pose, every breath is working to make you feel good. And so that if something doesn't feel good, feel free to skip it or modify it or change it. Because even though I'm guiding you through this practice today, I'm just here to make suggestions. And you can can take what you need and leave the rest. And just as you would in any group class, remind yourself, take what you need, leave the rest. Your teacher is there to guide you and to give suggestions, and nothing else. So when you're ready, go ahead and start to place your feet on your mat with your knees bent if you're not already there. Maybe rock those knees side to side. And you may want to continue this movement, or it may feel good to pull the knees in and rock side to side. Good. And then from here, we're going to work into just a little bit of hip opening. So I like to do half happy babies. I think they feel really nice. If you want to take a full happy baby and kind of hang out, that's a nice option too. But we're going to start with half happy baby. So I'm going to place my left foot down onto the mat. I'm going to hug the right knee in and maybe just kind of rock it side to side, see how it's feeling. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my right hand to the outside of my right foot, the pinky edge of my right foot. And so I don't have to reach the pinky edge. Maybe I want to reach for the calf or just the back of the knee here and just kind of open up, whatever feels good to you. And then I'm going to think about opening the right knee up, opening the right hip, flexing the foot like my foot's going to stamp the ceiling. And then I almost kind of think about like a bow and arrow movement, as if I'm pulling my leg back with a little bow and arrow, imagining that this thigh is going to rest on the outside of my body, right? And this left leg, you can keep it bent if you want. You can take full happy baby and take the left leg up if you like. You can extend the leg flat if you like. I like to keep it bent to make my lower back feel happy. Good. And then you can even start to kind of straighten that right leg out, pull it in, right? Only if it feels good, only if your hamstring's feeling it today. Good. And then I'm gently going to pull that right knee back in, give it a hug. I'm going to take the outside of the right ankle, let it rest on top of the left thigh for a reclined pigeon. Just kind of pausing here. And then I'm going to think about hooking the outside of my left thigh with my right pinky almost, like it's going to curl around my thigh, and then my legs are just going to collapse to the right, right? So I'm getting both internal and external rotation here. Breathing. Feels a little weird. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. If you don't, come back. Inhale back to center, exhale to release, and then we'll take the other side. So now my right foot's going to stay planted. I'm going to pull the left knee in, give it a little hug. Maybe rock it side to side. And as I move here, it's like I'm imagining that every time I move, it's like I'm telling my body, thank you. Thank you for supporting me and protecting me. Thank you for guiding me. And even if the movement feels limited, I like to remind myself that maybe that's my body's way of protecting me, keeping me safe, or maybe something I'm not ready for, or maybe something that may not feel good. So then when you're ready, you may want to take the outside, or take the left hand to the outside of maybe your knee, maybe your calf, maybe your foot. Good. And then I can think about kind of rolling my left shoulder back. I like to think about pulling back like a bow and arrow, so I kind of open up here. And remember, you can always take your full happy baby if you want to. I find that this feels a little bit better to me, just because I can get some more movement. And then remember, you can always kind of bend that knee in, maybe straighten it out, see how it feels. Maybe your hamstring is okay with that today, maybe not. Oof, this side feels tight. Good. And then we're gently going to release the foot, take the outside of the ankle, let it rest on top of this right thigh. Like a little figure four position. I'm flexing the left foot, gently pressing the knee open, kind of hang out here. Maybe take a couple of breaths. And then we're going to work into that kind of collapsing variation. So I'm going to hook my pinky toe around the outside of my right thigh. I'm going to breathe in, and then with the exhale, everything's just going to fall to the left, right? So I'm getting internal and external rotation, right? Internal and external. And then I'm also getting a nice little side stretch, getting into the right hip, the IT band a little bit. Feels good. ready with the inhale, bring it all back up. Release that foot, maybe do a little windshield wiper. Good. Then from here, I'm gonna hug the knees in. Again, it's like I'm telling my body, thank you, thank you, thank you. Take my hands to the backs of the legs, and rock front to back. Get a little rocking chair movement. And then eventually come through to seated. In this seated position, I'm going to go ahead and bring soles of the feet together. Start with a little bit of Baddha Konasana. So you can keep a nice long spine here if it feels good. You may want to kind of walk those hands forward even if that feels good. Breathing here. I'm just kind of working into the hips a little bit. Not only is it my favorite thing to work on, hip opening, well, it's kind of a toss-up. But one of my favorite things to work on, but it also just feels really good, especially if, you've been sitting a lot, or the opposite, maybe you've been doing a lot of walking or running or biking, anything like that. And then gently come up. And then from here, I'm just gonna cross my ankles, doesn't really matter how, and come forward to hands and knees. So if crossing and working forward doesn't feel great, you can always just kind of sit off to the side and then come to hands and knees, however you like to move here. So we'll come to hands and knees, preparing for cat-cow with wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. And then from here on the inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone for cow. Exhale, round the spine, curl in for cat. Inhale, drop to cow. Exhale, round it out. Oof. I like to rock forward, get into the upper back. Inhale, drop to cow. And exhale, round out. And then we're going to come back to neutral here. And I like to do this a lot, this kind of upper thoracic opening. So we're going to shift the weight into the left hand. I'm going to take my right hand, and on the inhale, I'm going to think about reaching up, like I'm going to tap the ceiling. Exhale, reach under, like I'm going to tap you guys. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach under. Inhale, up. Then exhale, reach under, relax onto the shoulder, onto the cheek. Left hand walks forward to give you a little bit of stability and then also traction, because if you push into this left hand, kind of diagonally, you'll feel a little bit more in the right shoulder. Remember, you can always sit your hips to your heels, so maybe this variation feels better to you today. Whatever feels good. If you're taking it in this kind of position with your shoulders, not your shoulders, your hips over your knees, you can always take the left leg, step it out like a little kickstand with the toes pointing forward, and then you can also give yourself a little bit of traction here if you kind of press into your foot. I like to think about bringing my hips to the right. You don't want to push so hard that you flip over. You can try it out. You can even reach that left hand forward and then start to look up to the ceiling, so you kind of roll a little bit. Just kind of depends on what feels good. And if maybe you have a neck injury or something, that may not feel good. But lately I found that kind of opening up is kind of fun. Sometimes I go overboard and I flip over, but that's okay. And then when you're ready, think about bringing the left knee back under the hip if you have the option. Take the left hand back, gently come to hands and knees. Inhale, drop to cow. Exhale, round it out. And then we'll take the other side. So now the left hand is going to start to reach. So I'm bringing the weight to my right hand. I want to think about keeping my hips even. Inhale, left arm's going to reach up. Think about tapping the ceiling. Exhale, reach under, maybe like I'm going to tap this wall. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach it under. Inhale, reach it up. Then this time, exhale, reach it under. Relax onto the shoulder, onto the cheek. Walk this right hand forward. Remember, you always have the option to kind of sit back. Maybe that feels better to you. Just kind of depends. And then as you're kind of hanging out, whatever variation you've chosen, if you like the variation with the hips over the knees, remember you can take this right leg, kick it out like a little kickstand, toes turned forward. Breathe there. You can kind of press into the ball of the right foot, get a little bit more traction. I can walk the right hand forward more. Think about looking like I'm going to look up at the ceiling. That kind of feels good on the shoulder. I'm bringing a little bit more weight into the shoulder here. So that feels good. Maybe just kind of play around around and see. You can open this arm up, but again, be careful because sometimes it'll just flip over. And then wherever you are, start to bring it back in. So the right knee hugs back in, right hand back, back to hands and knees. Inhale, drop to cow. Exhale, round it out. And then we're gonna come back to neutral and then go ahead and press into our downward facing dog. So from hands and knees position, tuck your little piggies under, set your hips to your heels, stretch them out. And then with the exhale, lift the hips up and back for your downward facing dog. I'm gonna adjust a little, good. And so remember, you can relax the head and neck here. I invite you to do that. Sometimes it's tempting to want to look forward, but relax your head, think about looking back between your toes. And then you can even kind of pedal out side to side. Maybe that feels good. Maybe you bend your knees, maybe you bounce around, maybe you wiggle. Whatever feels good. And maybe this doesn't feel great today. Maybe you just want to hang out on hands and knees. Maybe down dog is not something that you're feeling great about today. From our down dog, we're going to stretch back, look forward, and with the exhale, step or walk feet to hands. Take as many steps as you like. Bend your knees once you come to the front if that feels good. As you inhale, think about lengthening the spine. Maybe bring hands to shins. Exhale to fold back down. Bend the knees. Drop the hips. Roll it up. Oh, my head's cut off. That's okay. Shoulders down the back with the exhale. Inhale to reach. Exhale as you fold. Feel free to bend the knees as you fold here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, drop the hips, roll it up. I like to kind of shake it out. Exhale, shoulders down. Again, inhale to reach. Exhale as you fold. Inhale to bring it up halfway. Exhale to fold, and then again, bend the knees, drop the hips, roll it up. Maybe shake it out as you roll it up, breathing in. Shoulders down the back with the exhale. So now from here, I'm gonna inhale, reach both arms up. With the exhale, reach the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Feet are about hips width distance, but feel free to go wider here. I like to go a little wider. Then the elbows can stay bent, or you can press those arms to straight, making sure your pelvis is kind of neutral. So you don't want this tilt, basically. You want to think about keeping everything hugged in so you're protecting your lower back. Breathe in. I say that because I need the reminder. And then you can stay here, or if you'd like to, with the exhale, think about bending your knees and relaxing your chest over your legs. So you can relax the head and neck. Hands can stay at your back, or you can lift your hands away from your lower back. And breathe there. Relax your head and neck. So think about letting your head just relax completely. You're looking between your shins, kind of. And again, you can kind of do a little bounce, a little shake. Maybe you've got some good music on at home and you want to dance it out, go for it. Good. And then wherever you are, we're going to come up halfway or down halfway, depending on where you were, hands to your back. And with the exhale, fold down, release the fingertips to the mat. From here, I'm going to walk my feet in a little bit because I have them kind of wide. I'm going to take the left foot, step it way back, wiggle, 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 and put the left knee down. So my hips are going to rest forward here. Fingertips on either side of that right foot. Remember, if you feel like your knee is kind of squishing your chest a little bit, which is common, you may want to use blocks or anything you've got at home, maybe a couple books or something. Breathe there. And now from here, we're going to work into a little bit of a twist. So I'm going to keep my hips relaxing forward. I don't know what just happened to my brain. Keep letting the hips relax forward. And then I'm going to take the left fingertips underneath the left shoulder. So I can go flat on this hand if I want to. My arms are kind of short, so I like to pop up to fingertips to give myself more length. I'm relaxing the hips forward. So my first option, take the right hand to the outside of the right knee, and I can breathe there. Then with the exhale, I can twist. I'm just going to push down to the right hand to twist. Maybe I stay there. Maybe I take the right arm up. Breathe there. I'm going to come back down here. Then I can turn this right hand to face the back of the room, reach behind the back. Maybe think about touching my left hip point, rolling the shoulder open. Again, those are just options. Do what feels good. Breathe here. Exhale. exhale, I'm gonna release, take my hands down, slide back, down dog. Good. Then from down dog, I'm just gonna work into my little teeny tiny cobras, but you can take whatever option you like. If you wanna do a full vinyasa, go for it. Inhale, come forward. If you're gonna work with me, exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, little tiny cobra, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, little tiny cobra. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, little tiny cobra. Tiny cobra dances. Exhale, bring it down. Stay there, breathe in. Then exhale, sit the hips to the heels, tuck your toes under, push it back. From our down dog, again, we're gonna stretch back, look forward and step or walk feet to hands. Think about using the opposite foot. So I stepped forward with the right foot. This time I'm gonna step forward with the left foot. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees, drop the hips, roll it up, shoulders down. Feet hips width distance or wider. Take hands, interlace fingers. Stay there or press open. Stay there or bend the knees, exhale, fold over. Stay there or lift hands away from the lower back. Stay there or dance it out, bounce it out, shake it out, relax the head and neck. If you want a little bit more intensity here, you can press your palms together. Then with the inhale, either come up halfway or down halfway if you were standing. Exhale and release all the way down. This time, I'm gonna walk the feet in a little bit. This time I'm gonna take my right foot, step it back, wiggle, 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 and then put that right knee down. I'm gonna relax the hips forward. Same thing, other side. So as I relax the hips forward, I wanna think about letting the knee and the ankle kind of be in line with each other. I just wanna be sure that I'm not kind of hanging out here because it can start to feel a little funky sometimes. So kind of breathing here. Remember, you can always use whatever props you want here. Sorry, I told you guys I've been trying to do like my own pedicures and stuff, and I mean, this is like a disaster. I just like, anyway, you guys can't see it, so it's okay. Right hand is gonna go underneath the right shoulder, either flat palm or maybe up on fingertips. Left hand to the outside of the left knee. I'm gonna lengthen, breathe in. Then exhale, I may just want to twist my shoulder open, and that maybe feels really good. Or I can think about opening the left arm up. I can stay there, or I can turn my palm to face away from me, reach behind the back like I'm gonna grab my right hip. Keep relaxing the hips forward. Think about rolling the left shoulder open. Breathing here. I like to kind of gaze to the side here, but you can certainly look down if you'd like to. You can look up, that kind of hurts my neck. Then with the exhale, we're gonna release down, tuck the toes, push it back, press into a little down dog. And then again, your choice, you may wanna hang out in your down dog, you may wanna take child's pose, you may wanna do full vinyasa, baby vinyasa, half and half. I'm gonna go full vinyasa this time. So inhale forward, exhale, lower, inhaling up, whew. Exhaling back. Good, we're breathing here, maybe pedal out. Good. From here, I'm gonna stretch back, look forward, step or walk, or bend your knees. Do a little bunny hop. Inhale, come up halfway, it doesn't matter what it looks like, it's fun. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, roll it up, breathing in, shoulders down, exhale. So now I'm gonna take a step out with my left foot, doesn't matter which side you do, but I'm gonna turn all 10 toes to face you guys. So I've got kind of like a straddle position here. Let me just adjust all my clothing items first. So first I'm gonna start with hands on the hip points, and I'm gonna think about rolling the shoulders back, but keeping the pelvis neutral. So remember, we don't want to let our pelvis dump forward, right? So think about keeping everything nice and neutral, and you'll feel it in your lower back, right? You wanna protect your own back. We're gonna breathe in, and then with the exhale, gently fold. And as you fold, relax your head and neck. If you feel like you're not folding a lot, maybe you're kind of here, that's okay, it's not a big deal. Relax your head and neck. We're gonna think about pointing the elbows up to the ceiling. That'll roll the shoulders away from the ears. I'm gonna tip my weight forward into the balls of the feet. Relax the head and neck. So as I tip forward, I feel the muscles in the backs of the legs engage, right? It almost feels like I'm gonna fall onto the top of my head, but my legs are strong, so I won't. Breathe. That's not to say that I haven't fallen before, I have. Good. And then from here, we're just gonna let the fingertips relax down. That may be on the mat or on the floor, wherever you can reach. You may have to walk the hands forward some, that's fine. Then from here, I'm gonna press into the hands to just lift my chest up slightly. I'm gonna turn my right toes out to the right to about a 45-degree angle. So they're not perfectly facing the front of the mat, they're kind of facing the corner of the mat. Then I'm gonna start to bend the right knee. So I'm gonna walk my hands over to the right, so just kind of help with that weight. So as I bend the right knee, I'm still pressing it open, and this left leg is straight, left foot is flat. Kind of breathe here. Then we're gonna straighten, turn those right toes forward, turn the left toes out, walk to the left a bit, start to bend the left knee a bit. So just kind of going baby steps here. Remember, always baby steps. Breathe there. Then I'm gonna come back to the center, all 10 toes forward, take a little fold. Good. Then from here, just for funsies, I'm gonna turn both feet out slightly, right? Almost like you would for a little goddess pose. So both toes are pointing to the corners of the mat. I'm gonna bend both knees. Bink. Right, so I kind of look like this little spider. It's actually kind of cute. And then from here, I'm gonna pretend it's like I'm a little wave in the ocean and I'm rocking side to side. Again, only if it feels good. Fingertips can stay down for stability, so I'm just gonna go bink, 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 bink. And if you've got some music on, this is actually better because it's like you're dancing. Right, all right, breathe. Then if you want to, you can move your hands with you. So you can keep fingertips down for stability, or I can kind of move my hands with me like I'm dancing. This is so silly and weird, but it feels so good in the hips. And you can stay low, you can come up and then down. I feel like, I don't know. I feel really silly to be honest, but it feels so good, I promise. Good, I can just kind of hover down here maybe. And then once your legs are like, all right, enough. Hands down, all 10 toes forward, take one more little fold. And we're gonna take hands to hips, come up halfway, breathe in, exhale here, inhale all the way up. Then I'm gonna turn my right foot forward, step the left foot up to meet the right. I'm gonna shake, shake, shake. All right, from here, we're gonna work into chair pose, Utkatasana. So big toes together, legs together, like I'm pressing something between my legs, a little piece of paper or something. Hands to the heart, roll the shoulders back, breathe in, exhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Tailbone is down, pelvis is neutral, ribs are in. So you don't want to feel your pelvis curl back. Pull it under, nice and dainty, shoulders down the back, breathe here. So I'm thinking about pressing into the four corners of my foot, and I'm thinking about still wiggling my toes. Tailbone is down, ribs are in. I'm saying it because I need to hear it. I have the tendency to want to kind of push my butt back. Breathe there. Maybe your chair gets a little smaller. Beak. Breathe. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're like, oh, no thanks, and you're skipping this, and that's cool too. But maybe it gets smaller. Beak. Maybe smaller. Beak. Maybe smaller. Until your little toe stand. And maybe you toe stand, maybe you put your hands down for balance, maybe you leave your hands at your heart, maybe you take hands to knees, maybe you're skipping this completely, that's okay too. I didn't know it would happen until just now. Breathing, pressing our legs together, beak, breathe. Then from here, oof, I'm losing balance. From here, I'm gonna try to press high up on the balls of my feet. So I feel my heels get closer to my buns. It's hard to balance there. You heard my toes pop probably. Breathing, breathing, breathing. That's enough of that. Fingertips down. I was falling. Exhale, unfold. Walk your feet out a little bit. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold, little bend in the knees. Relax the head and neck. You can grab opposite elbows here, maybe sway. Hang out. Breathe. elbows. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Hands are going to come down, stepping back to our down dog. Hang out in your down dog or take the vinyasa, your choice. Inhale forward. Maybe you want to modify the vinyasa. That would be knees, chest, chin. Inhale, little tiny cobra. Good. Exhale to push back. And then if you were hanging out in your down dog, maybe come down and take a child's pose. So go ahead and find a resting pose that feels good to you. Maybe that's kind of sitting back, having a sip of water. Maybe that's child's pose, knees wide or knees together. Your choice. Breathe here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and press back into your downward facing dog. Peek. All right, from our down dog, we're just gonna work into a sun salutation, Surya Namaskar. So kind of move at your own pace. You can move with me or faster or slower, your choice. We're gonna breathe in, and with the exhale, right foot is gonna step between the hands. Back heel drops to a little 45-degree angle, preparing for warrior one. Front knee bent, back leg straight. Inhale to reach those arms up. Maybe pause, think about pulling the right hip back, left hip forward, tailbone down, ribs in, power in the back leg. Breathe. And then with the exhale, hands are gonna come down around the foot. We're gonna step to plank. You can lower your choice or skip. I'm gonna go chaturanga. Inhaling, up dog. Exhaling to our down dog. With that same exhale, I'm gonna think about stepping the left foot between the hands. Right heel is gonna drop. I'm gonna adjust. With the next breath in, slowly coming up. Thinking about pulling the left hip back, the right hip forward. So notice my hips aren't off to the side. I'm pulling back, pressing firmly into the right leg. Tailbone and pelvis are neutral, so there's no dumping happening. Arms are gonna reach up for a breath in. Exhale, hands down, stepping to plank and lowering, your choice. Remember, you can skip it if you want to. And then we're gonna push to down dog. Take 3 breaths in your down dog. And then from downward facing dog, again, stretch back, look forward, step, walk, or do the bunny hop. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, drop the hips, roll it up, breathing in, shoulders down. All right, so notice I'm next to this beautiful wall. We're gonna use it for a couple of poses. If you're not close to a wall space, either maybe go to a door or something and that will work, or a wall, it doesn't matter. But I'm just gonna show you a couple things. I'm just gonna scooch my mat up so that it's closer. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and, well, never mind. I'm just gonna go here. All right, so I'm gonna take my stance, which is gonna be about hips width distance, and I'm gonna adjust as we go. So first, I'm gonna take my hands onto the wall. Good, and my hands are wider than the width of my shoulders, right? So then I'm gonna step my feet back a little bit, and I'm gonna think about pushing my hips back, letting my chest drop down. Notice my hands are higher than my shoulders. That's gonna give my chest and my shoulders a wonderful stretch. I'm gonna relax the head and neck. So maybe you're here and you feel like, well, I don't really feel it. Walk those feet back a little bit and really give yourself space to push back, right? You can drop down as much as you like. I don't like to go with chest lower than the hips here though, and I like to keep the hands above the head, hands a little bit wider than the width of the shoulders. Breathe there. It's good stuff. If you tend to work in an office or something, or maybe you have to sit a lot or stay in a certain position a lot for work, this is a great stretch for your shoulders. Then I'm gonna leave my left hand on the wall, but I'm actually gonna walk it so it's like in line with my head. Then I'm gonna take the right hand, drop it. right? So maybe I've got a block here. That would be ideal, but I don't have a block, so I'm just gonna go fingertips. And I can just hang out here, kind of look under that arm, give myself a little twist, or I can start to lift the left arm up, take a little twist there. It's kind of intense. Left hand back on the wall, right hand back on the wall. Right hand kind of in line over my head, left hand drops. I like to pop up onto fingertips because that just feels a little bit more, I like to be in line, so ideally I'd be kind of here, but my blocks are being used to prop up my phone. Stay there, or right arm lifts up. Good, I can breathe there. Then right hand back, left hand back, walk it up. And then we're gonna walk toward the wall. So I know I'm gonna turn the camera so it's like a little easier to see. Okay. So then from here, I'm going to do a little shoulder stretch of the wall. So I'm gonna face the wall, and I'm gonna start with the right shoulder. So my right arm is gonna be in line with my shoulder. I'm gonna press it up against the wall. You guys can't see. So let's say I'm here, right? Imagine my legs are straight. My toes are facing the opposite way, but I can start to turn to face away from the wall. So it's like I'm turning my toes away from the wall to give myself a shoulder stretch. And then I can do that on the other side. So maybe if I walk this way. It's also, you can do this in a doorway too. So I'm gonna bring my left arm on the wall, face the wall, and slowly start to turn my toes away from my left arm. I can stay there, or I can keep turning. So it's like I'm gonna turn to face the opposite way. Give myself a little shoulder stretch. And then release that, and we'll make our way back down to the mat. So inhaling, exhaling, inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold, we're gonna push back into our downward facing dog. Good, pedal out. I like to kind of crouch back, bend both knees. And then from here, we're gonna go ahead and make our way through to seated. And we're actually gonna do a couple of positions at the wall. So I'm gonna move my mat a little bit so that I've got some space. But these wall positions are great ones that you can do at home, or even in your bed, if your bed happens to be up against the wall. So I'm gonna start with legs up the wall position. We're gonna kind of start to cool ourselves down. So I'm just gonna take one hip up against the wall, doesn't matter which one. Relax back onto hands and elbows, and as gracefully as I can, swing these legs up. Good, so they're resting on the wall. Hands can rest wherever you like. If you had a blanket or a pillow, that could go underneath your head. I actually like to drape a blanket over my feet. I find that to be really comfortable. You don't have to be perfectly pressed up against the wall. I like to actually wiggle away because my hamstrings are kind of tight most of the time. So I feel like I need a little bit more of an angle for my legs to relax, right? So if you feel like your knees want to bend, that's an indication that maybe you need to move away from the wall a little bit. And then hips, or feet can be about the width of the hips. I like to let my little toes relax open and breathe here. And so as you breathe, this is a nice little inversion. It's cooling and calming. Also a really nice way, if maybe you suffer from restless leg or anything like that, this is a nice way to kind of help relieve some of those aches and pains and kind of pins and needles feelings. This is also just a nice way to kind of calm yourself down if you feel maybe kind of anxious or maybe you're worrying a lot. So again, I'm just going to kind of go through some of the positions with you. This is one that I would stay in for maybe 5 to 8 minutes or so, maybe longer, maybe less, depending on how comfortable it feels. Sometimes my legs start to fall asleep and then it doesn't feel comfortable, so I start to come out of it, but it's up to you. And then from here, we're gonna go into a little hip opening. So I'm actually gonna scoot a little closer. You have to do this really ungraceful move there. And I'm gonna let my legs just open to a little V position, right? And so as much as it feels good, you don't have to be right up against the wall. You can scoot away from the wall if it feels good. I like to let my feet just relax, open, and you're getting a stretch into the insides of your legs, the hamstrings, the hips. Good, and then just breathe here. And a lot of times this is really intense, actually more intense than you would anticipate it to be. So if it does feel that way, you can always bring your legs back in. I like to use a strap sometimes to keep my legs in a certain position so they won't relax more. If you don't have a strap at home, you can use, if you have those like exercise bands, those bouncy ones, those actually work pretty well. Or you can use something like a scarf, a sweatshirt or something, anything like that. Maybe you've got a belt or something at home. And so again, breathing here, a couple minutes, or maybe you like to count your breath. Sometimes I say, okay, I'm gonna stay here for 30 breaths or something, 20 breaths, whatever feels good. And it also gives your mind something to focus on so that you're not just wondering, okay, well, what am I gonna do now? So breathing. And so after you've maybe stayed here for a couple of breaths, maybe a couple of minutes, whenever you feel ready to come out, you can gently start to come out. And I like to assist myself. So I use my hands to the outsides of my legs and I gently help bring my legs together, super slow. Pause, maybe bend your knees. You can either kind of rest your feet on the wall or you can hug them all the way in. Maybe rock side to side, whatever feels good here. You can wiggle around some. Good. And then we'll move into one more little hip stretch. So legs back up. This time we're going to bring soles of the feet together and then the heels are going to slide down like so. And so from here, you don't have to, again, pull your legs down or anything. Just kind of let gravity do its thing. If you feel your lower back lifting off the mat, that's an indication that you may want to scoot away from the wall a couple of inches, right? Again, I like to put a blanket here because not only does it cushion my feet, but it also assists in just kind of sliding around. And then from here, you can rest for your arms wherever you like to. A lot of people like to rest their hands on their knees, kind of maybe do a little gentle push or kind of the thighs and just kind of hang out there. I like to do the least amount of work possible, so I just don't. But it's up to you. If you have a sandbag or maybe in your pantry you've got a bag of rice or flour or something, you can let it rest on your pelvis. That's a nice option. Even just something as like simple as rolling up a blanket and letting it rest on your abdomen, just that added weight will help you focus on your breath quite a bit more. So it's up to you, whatever feels good. So again, staying here a couple of minutes or maybe just counting your breath. And then when you're ready to come out of it, you just take your hands again, pull them in, maybe extend those legs back up. I like to do little windshield wipers with my heels. And then you can take your Shavasana at the wall. You can relax onto your mat, onto your side, onto your abdomen, whatever feels good here. I did forget to mention sometimes these positions feel more comfortable with a blanket underneath you. It kind of helps cushion a bit. So you may want to try that also. But go ahead and start to take your Shavasana. If you want to take a full Shavasana, which I really support, I invite you to take a nice 10-minute Shavasana. Just kind of turn everything off, turn your brain off for a little bit. Go ahead and take that. I'm just gonna sit up for right now, let you guys breathe for a little bit, and then we're gonna close. So if you wanna take a full Shavasana, please just go ahead and turn Facebook off. So if you are in the legs of the wall position, you wanna come out, you can just kind of roll to your side and then gently come up. So wherever you happen to be resting, start to deepen your breath. Maybe take a couple of nice full deep breaths here. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe close the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Allowing your body to rest in whatever position feels good. Coming back to that intention of reminding yourself that you are made to feel good, that we are all made to feel good. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that sometimes when one of those aspects of our being is kind of out of whack, we're going to see it manifest itself in some way, right? And so making it part of our intention to not judge what we're feeling, to not shame what we're feeling, to not label or attach some kind of value to it, but to understand, to be mindful, to recognize, and to have a little bit of that mindful introspection to understand, okay, maybe this isn't feeling great, so these are some of the tools I can use to help regulate myself, right? And sometimes we need the help of our friends or our family or a professional to help us with those things. Sometimes it's something that we can do on our own. And reminding ourselves, just as we did at the beginning of our practice, that we are all different. That what works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. But to remind ourselves that our yoga practice is one of the many tools that we can have in our little toolbox just to help regulate when something's feeling out of whack. And so now taking a nice deep breath in, complete exhale. And again, deep breath in, complete exhale. Reminding ourselves that our breath is one of the best tools that we can use to bring ourselves back into a neutral, grounded, safe, secure place. So wherever you are, maybe gently start to add a little movement, gently start to take some time to make your way up to seated. You can always stay in your reclined position if you're there, but we're going to gently close class together. So if you like to come to seated, go for it. Maybe keep the eyes closed, maybe just soften the gaze. Bring the hands together at the heart. Take a deep breath in. Turn the head over the left shoulder, exhale. Releasing our past. Deep breath in, head at center. Complete exhale over the right shoulder. Releasing anxiety about the future. Deep breath in, head at center. Full exhale at center. Reminding ourselves that we cannot breathe in the future, we cannot breathe in the past. To remind ourselves to keep ourselves anchored in the present moment by using our breath. And closing our practice saying together and to each other, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you guys. I hope that you enjoyed our practice today. I'll keep doing at least one of these videos a week just to keep you guys kind of connected, or keep us all connected. Whether you're able to come into the studio to take class or not, I still want to be able to provide these classes for you guys, just to kind of keep us all connected and help us feel a little bit more regulated. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any poses that you want to work on, anything like that, let me know and I'll try to do a video for you. I appreciate all of your support and understanding and patience during this time. I know that those of you that want to come practice at the studio, it can be a little frustrating because we don't have that many classes and we do limit the class size, but I do want to remind you that that is to keep you all safe, to keep us all safe. And that those schedules can change week to week. We're just kind of watching and seeing what's going on, all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for practicing with me. Hope to see you all soon. And I do my little scooch so I can turn the video off. Thank you guys. Have a great week.